Episode 158, Party on Board. Alex was speechless, but he was also deeply moved. In the past 2 or 3 months, since Kathy left you, you only saw her arrogant and domineering side. Did you know that she'd call out your name when she slept? She hid it very well from others, but I know her best. She didn't really forget you after breaking up with you, Minnie said. She continued. She told me that the day she broke up with Simon, she realized that the person who she really loved was you. She told me that she wanted to get back together with you. She wanted to spend the rest of her life making up for all the harm she'd done to you in the past few months. I was there when she called you 6 times, but you wouldn't answer. She cried on my shoulder and whispered that you don't want her. Minnie closed her eyes for a moment as she took a deep breath. Later, she told me that to save your love, she'd do something desperate. And then she ran out. I think she went to see you. What did you say to her that made her feel so lost when she came back? The next day she dropped out of school and left. Alex remembered that time when she was in the boutique. He could not help but feel a trace of heartache. You remember, don't you? Don't you know how shameless you were to her? Minnie's eyes became sharper and sharper. And now you have the nerve to talk to me about morals? After all the things you've done? Do you really deserve it? I don't deserve it, but I don't need you to blame me for it either. I'm tired, so please go. He was really tired. He didn't want to see her flaunt this in front of him anymore. If he was wrong, he would use his methods to make up for it. But he needed to think carefully about it first. He pushed her out the door. "Why are you pushing me?" she exclaimed. "Do you want to know what Kathy asked me to tell you when she left?" He stopped. He didn't think it was very important to him, but he wanted to know Kathy's state of mind at that time. It would be a pity not to know and be disrespectful toward Kathy. "What did she say?" he asked as he stared at her. "She left you a letter. Everything she wanted to say to you is in it. Let me give it to you." Her eyes narrowed as she paused. "Give me the letter," he said. "I'll give it to you, as long as you come with me to the party," she said. "Don't force me to go with you." His eyes tightened, which made her shiver. She tried to calm herself. If you don't go to the party with me, I won't give it to you." She had to blackmail him, otherwise he would never go with her. "You." He grabbed her by the collar and his eyes narrowed dangerously. She felt how strong he was, but she couldn't be timid, or her live broadcast would be doomed. "What about me? I'll tell you after tomorrow. If you get me blocked on Trist, I'll find a place to burn the letter secretly, and then you'll never know," she threatened. He breathed heavily and closed his eyes tightly. "Okay, I'll go with you." He finally agreed to go with her as he slowly released her collar. "Okay, you agreed." She was overjoyed and relieved that she wouldn't be blocked from the streaming platform. "Where's the letter?" he asked coldly. "I'll give you the letter after tomorrow. Anyway, I haven't got it with me." She regained her disdain for him. "Well, it's late, and we should go to bed. We'll get up early tomorrow and fly to Miami," she said to him, and left his room with Hannah. He slowly walked back to the bed. Lying on his side, he couldn't help but think of Kathy's face. He eventually pulled up the quilt and fell asleep. The next day when Alex woke up, it was gloomy outside. It was already 8 o'clock. He called out to the 2 girls who were still in bed. After an hour of getting ready, they walked out of the villa. After some breakfast at a coffee bar, Minnie took Hannah back to a rental house, and then the 3 of them got in a taxi and rushed to the airport. After buying tickets, they quickly got on the plane. It was still gloomy outside. Alex and Minnie sat together. The 2 girls ate their snacks and chatted across the aisle, but they didn't look at him at all. "Do you have the letter?" he asked. "No," she said as she closed some bags. He knew that the letter was in her bag, but she was afraid that he would take it away and not go with them to Miami. He gave a faint smile and stopped asking her. He had already promised to go with them, so he wouldn't change his mind now. He closed his eyes. He was looking forward to seeing the city where Debbie had once lived for a short time. A while later, they arrived in Miami and went to the harbor where the tryst party was being held for the top 100 online celebrities. The party was on a private luxury cruise ship. The magnificent ship was berthing at the port, so the party guests were not allowed to board it yet. They had to wait for an hour and a half before the party started. Like Minnie, the internet celebrities were getting ready, resting, and getting familiar with the party protocols in a nearby hotel. Alex couldn't stay in the hotel, so he walked along the harbor alone. Standing on a reef by the sea, he called out, "Debbie, where are you? Come back quickly." He had heard others say that when someone called out to the sea for their love would hear it and quickly return. But he only heard his echo, and the distant sounds of seagulls mingled with the waves. The sea breeze made Alex feel a little cold. He pulled his coat tighter and walked back to the hotel. At 6:30 in the evening, Alex followed Minnie and Hannah to the cruise ship. With hundreds of people on board, Minnie, Hannah, and the other internet celebrities were in awe and wonder. The cruise ship had 3 levels. The hull was made of shiny metal, and several lines of colored flags hung off the high mast from bow to stern. The top deck was huge, with a large swimming pool at the stern and several reclining lounge chairs around it. The stage with a reinforced framework was set up at the bow of the ship. Behind the stage, there was a beautiful red net curtain with the word Tryst. Sound equipment and seats lined both sides of the stage floor. The internet celebrities and guests were wandering around the observation platform on the deck, looking at the scenery. Standing along the ship's rail, they could see the endless sea in the distance until it met the horizon. The sounds of the rolling waves were soothing. Looking into the distance, Alex thought that the scenery would be even more beautiful if the sun were out that day. Several of the celebrities gathered to talk and laugh. "This cruise ship belongs to Lee Dempsey. They say that it's worth $500 million, and that he bought it with his father. How many rich people have this kind of courage?" "Well, I heard that Lee broke up with his girlfriend and is single now. Do you think I have a chance?" "I don't see any chance for you. After all, I'm still here." "They say that Lee will also be here tonight. I have to perform well when I go on stage, and maybe Lee will like me." They stopped chatting and walked to their seats when they saw that the party was about to start. Minnie and Hannah had been standing nearby and overheard the conversation. Minnie also had an idea. "Hannah, do you think Lee might like me?" She looked at Hannah and asked with a trace of hope and confidence in her eyes. Seeing her determined look, Hannah laughed with disapproval. "Minnie, don't kid with me. The party's about to start, so let's go." Hannah was about to take her back, but Minnie still stared at her. "You haven't answered my question yet," she said. Hannah was speechless. "Minnie, I'll tell you the truth, but don't be angry with me. I've been dazzled by all the beautiful people you see here tonight. What's outstanding about us? Besides, there are some really beautiful streamers here. Lee will likely pick a beautiful one." After Hannah finished talking, Minnie couldn't help but feel lost. She thought that stepping into a powerful family was just a dream, so she should take her livestream seriously. "Alex, the party's about to start. Come over here," Minnie yelled to Alex, who had been staring out at sea.